Yo,
Hey Marcus, how's it going, man?
not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad. Awesome to have a chat again. Last
Absolutely.
time I think Alien was just coming out. So how have you been spending time since then?
Oof. Well, we were able to get most of our album cycle done on Alien, but then obviously the world exploded. So been spending most of the last couple of years kind of just waiting to get back to work. Obviously, yeah, record another album. Um, I don't know, just been trying to keep sane really, but still kicking on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose with recording another album, because Northlane have just announced Obsidian is coming out, the sixth album. Congratulations on that.
Thank
I'm
you.
kind of interested in what you've been listening to over the last year because Echo Chamber is quite a change or step in a different direction for the group.
For sure. Well, I feel like we've all got very different um, kind of tastes in music anyway, but I feel with Obsidian, we've really all just embraced all of our different influences, and as opposed to kind of sprinkling little bits in of what we all kind of enjoy personally, we've kind of just thrown it all in there, I think. And I think John in particular, obviously, is really kind of shifted the instrumental side of it into the electronic side of music of the the electronic side of our music quite a lot more than it has been before. But for me, I don't know. I've been listening to all sorts of stuff. Really, I can't really pinpoint anything that was like influencing the album, but I just feel like I was just listening to a lot more um, kind of like emo pop rock stuff, but stuff where I was kind of really kind of focusing on lyrics and stuff. I've always been very focused on melody and just songwriting, I guess, but then the lyrics I've always kind of, I don't know, my memory for lyrics has always been really bad. So I've been trying to focus a lot more on like on lyric writing and kind of storytelling in that way. And yeah, can't really pinpoint anything in particular, but definitely just more like emo rock stuff for me.
I suppose, as you said, it is really honing in on those electronic elements and, is kind of more techno based and accessible in a sense. Is it hard for you as a lyricist? I suppose, do you feel more vulnerable now that your lyrics are much more on display and you kind of can't hide as much behind, certain screens?
Yeah, there's definitely a different approach to it all, considering that because yeah, songs like Echo Chamber they don't really call for that usual that standard metalcore kind of thing. I guess that kind of balls to the wall, screaming, heavy stuff. So um, yeah, it was interesting taking on some of those songs and other songs on the album that are a lot more yeah like four to the floor kind of club songs almost. I definitely tried to approach those songs thinking more like in that mindset, like what would you be kind of paying attention to if you were to be hearing this as like someone who listens to a different style of music, I guess. And I guess that did kind of change how I was kind of approaching writing lyrics, but it also kind of gave me a bit more freedom to kind of just do anything I felt like. I feel like because yeah, I feel like this album really has just kind of well, this album and the end of the Alien cycle and how all of that went. I feel like it really just has enabled us to do pretty much anything we want.
Mhm.
So in terms of writing lyrics and stuff, there was no real restrictions by the songs or the kinds of songs there were, but that being said, there was still a lot more well, a lot of just stress, I guess, outside of the actual songs, just in our personal lives, and obviously being kind of not on the road or playing music for a year at that point when we got into the studio to record, it was more stressful, kind of just figuring out how to do the thing as opposed to like what restrictions or kind of how my approach would change based on the songs.
Definitely. And after a year not doing anything, it's going to be kind of a bit of a hard process. I mean, if you haven't done a kickflip in a year and you go to the skate park and try, you're probably going to struggle.
Exactly.
So, yeah, getting back into the studio would have been such a kind of crazy process. And I know that this is the first Northlane album that's self-released as well. Was that something that you knew before going into the studio that you were going to do?
Yeah, well, I think so. Like I guess we were probably looking around at other options after we had actually, I don't know if because to be honest, I'm not very much focused on the business side of things. I kind of end up going where I go when Josh tells me to. So, but I feel like as we were in the studio, we were very aware, like we weren't really held back by anything, but yeah, there was a lot of pressure on it being kind of not on UNFD or whatever that might be, or doing it on our own. I don't think though that the fact that we were independent now was like a certain pressure. I think the pressure was more so just how do we follow up Alien, I think, and that would have been whether we were on an independent or on a label or whatever, and also trying to do that kind of feeling a little bit down and uninspired, but we also we self-produced the album as well, and like recorded all of it ourselves with the help of Chris Blancato, who also engineered the instrumental side of Alien. And I think with that, obviously that means we weren't putting the pressure on like being in the studio with different engineers kind of trying to make sure we get something done in a certain amount of time. We were able to spend a lot of time on vocals and on the songwriting, and even after we were done at the house in Dandenong that we were staying at to record, I was able to come home and fix up anything I wasn't entirely happy with. So that kind of took a little bit of that pressure off, but yeah, I think the main pressure was really just trying to find inspiration in lockdown.
Yeah, which is a struggle I've kind of heard a lot of musicians speaking about. I mean, it can quite often be hard writing when you don't have your day-to-day life or, you know, triggers happening. And as you said, it's a lot easier to be introspective. So I am kind of sorry to hear that you guys did have a bit of a rough year, and I'm glad to hear that you've found that motivation and come back with Obsidian, which is really rad.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, like in the end, we were able to still stay a band, and I'm sure a lot of other people had it way worse off anyway. So I try not to be too sooky about it, but like, yeah, that being said, the brain was empty.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, new songs are coming out, so obviously that turned around. Was there anything in particular that you can kind of attribute to, you know, that was the moment that I was like, fuck yeah, we're onto something here?
You know what? Probably not, actually. It took quite a while for me to, like, I knew when we were recording these songs and writing these songs, that they were really good, and the things I was writing and working on, I was really proud of. But I think I was just also just quite down on myself and probably just doubting myself after, just kind of getting in my head in lockdown. But I guess in the end, that kind of turned into kind of exploring those feelings and at not wanting to write like a lockdown album or anything, as opposed to writing about feeling trapped or whatever. I kind of just dove into how I was feeling, and even just those days when you just, whether it's to do with what's going on or not, when you're just feeling like empty. I don't know. It's something people can relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people have felt this year as well. And even though I didn't feel like it, I wanted to kind of go into the misery of all of that, it just felt like, what else do I write about at this point? Like, this is how I'm feeling, and this is how it is at the moment. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of just how it ended up.
Did that, because I know Echo Chamber is kind of largely about online hostility and hate and aggression in online communities. And, you know, I suppose hearing about your struggles over the last year and that lack of motivation, does that kind of tie in where, you know, it might have been certain hostilities towards the group that you really had to overcome and just kind of think it's just an opinion, it's not relevant?
Well, it's interesting because most of, I guess, what I was talking about with the Echo Chamber was not so much about hostility towards us or towards the band or our music. It was more just towards the world, and just random things that would be going on in the world. Like, I don't know, just trivial stuff that people would get in arguments about, and kind of just being, I guess, being in the band, you kind of still have to use social media and kind of keep up to date with that. But I definitely took a big step away from most of my social media stuff this last couple of years, just because every time I logged on, it was like people arguing about, I don't know, literally nothing, but like very aggressively, and like it was their life depended on it. And it just seems like it was doing so much more bad than it was good, in the sense that the only thing people were getting out of it was, you know, the fact that they got a sweet take on something that's going on, or like that a bunch of other people agree with them. And like, it just turned into this echo chamber of people kind of patting themselves on the back about something that doesn't matter, when there's so much other stuff in the world that does matter, and people's energy and effort should be going into. And obviously the song doesn't kind of delve into those specifics, but yeah, that was just that kind of vibe. I don't know, just feels very hard to be on the internet, hard to kind of see people always at each other's throats for no reason over stuff that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and I feel over the last year that's been a lot more prevalent, with everyone being locked down and having a lot of opinions, I guess.
Yeah, everyone's frustrated, and I understand. It's just like, just turn it off. That's the kind of idea of it. Just turn it off for a while and enjoy what you enjoy. Don't spend so much time being angry over the stuff that doesn't really matter.
Because that's a perception that I hold as well, and I suppose got that from traveling a lot. And I feel you might be the same, because it's something. If you're seeing a mate every day, right, and they gain 10 kilos, you probably won't notice. But if you don't see them for a year, you will. So
yeah,
I know you can go around the world and come back and someone's opinion has changed massively, and it's so much more polarizing because you haven't seen that gradual progression.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, obviously people are totally entitled to their own opinions and to talk about whatever they want. But yeah, it just seemed like this last year, everyone's kind of just at each other, and yeah, just kind of took on like an every man for themselves, attack everything kind of mentality. So for me, that was just kind of an analysis on that, and just turn it off and get out of that echo chamber of everyone being angry.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't produce a productive environment at all.
Not at all.
But I suppose the flip side of everyone being angry, Northlane's just announced a tour. Epic. I'm so excited seeing tours and shows being announced. How are you feeling for that? You guys have a really cool lineup and some pretty incredible venues as well that you're playing at.
Absolutely. Well, I really can't wait to get back to it. Towards the end of that Alien tour, I was feeling very drained, and I think that came with what I guess the songs are about as well, and having to kind of perform and talk about those for about a year. But I was feeling like, oh, I need to go home and I need a break. And now after 2 years, I'm just like, I need to play a show again. I'm so itching to get back to it, and to get back to it with Plini and Sleep Token and Alt. It's I'm really excited. I think with everyone trying to get back to putting shows on, picking lineups is kind of hard, and finding bands that aren't already planning all this other stuff was really hard. So we really lucked out with Plini and Sleep Token, and Alt, an awesome local band as well, who I'm really excited to see as well. But yeah, I don't know, it's just exciting to be getting back to it. It's kind of feeling kind of surreal, because we've had Full Tilt Festival booked for quite a while as well, like 6-7 months, and
that's recently been pushed back again.
Yeah, I think that's been pushed back to early January, which will most likely be going ahead now, which I'll cross my fingers, make sure nothing crazy happens between now and then. But now that it's all seeming like it's going to finally go ahead, I'm really excited. A bit nervous because, I feel like my fitness is going to be not so good, because that was really my main exercise, was playing shows. So
I don't know how you do it, man. Like, there's been times people have given me mic rads and I'm like, I don't have the breath for this. And like, you guys are actually jumping around.
Yeah, it's going to take me some time, I'm sure, to get back to the stamina I once had, but I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Well, I know everyone else is as well. As I said, it's a pretty massive tour. And am I right in saying in Melbourne you're playing the Forum?
I believe so. Let me
I'm
so bad at this stuff. I'm pretty sure. And the Forums, yes, it is the Forum. That's a venue I've not had the chance to play yet, but seen a couple of bands play, and it's such an epic venue to see a band at. It's epic, so I could only imagine what it would be like to be playing on that stage with all the awesome architecture in there. So I'm really excited.
Absolutely incredible. It's honestly probably like my favorite big venue in Melbourne.
Totally.
And it's a massive capacity as well. I think it's like 5,000 people or
is it really?
Yeah, I asked the guy.
Let's see how that goes.
For Brian Jonestown. I think it's a fair few. Don't quote me on the exact amount. But yeah,
I'll check with Joshy.
Yeah. Well, I suppose, in terms of everything Obsidian wise, we've kind of covered that. Is there anything else happening in Northlane that people should know about? I know you guys just announced a Patreon. Yeah,
we've been doing the Patreon thing for maybe like a month and a half, 2 months now, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool being able to just, I don't know, at the moment it's still like a small community kind of hanging out, and everyone kind of is very friendly with each other, and everyone knows each other. And I know it's really cool being able to build this small community and hopefully build it larger as time goes on, and kind of be able to give this extra stuff back to the fans who want to support us. Yeah, it's been really fun. We've been doing live streams and stuff, and that's just been kind of try to use Streamlabs and stuff and try to get like a live stream going. I'm starting to feel like a boomer, starting to feel real old. I always used to be quite up to date and like knowing what I was doing with technology as it was coming out, and now that I'm getting to that cusp where I'm losing it.
Oh man, I reckon it took me 6 months to realize how to work Zoom.
Gosh,
like
I
also feel like a boomer. I was used to Skype, to be honest.
Totally.
It feels so old school now. But for Northlane, I mean, like back in the day, 14 years ago, am I right in saying the band, and this was pre your time, I know, Marcus, but like Josh and stuff actually met and formed via YouTube and online channels. So obviously they're pretty tech savvy dudes.
Well, to be as far, no, I think it was MySpace. For some reason in my head, I got this story like it was like John put an ad out in the trading post or something, but I feel like I've made that up. Imagine that. But yeah, I'm pretty sure they just met through MySpace, and Josh sent like a YouTube audition or something to John of him playing like Slayer or something. I I would love to find that video. Josh definitely knows where it is, but he doesn't. He makes sure he doesn't send it to us.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, it's
on the web.
absolutely. Well, I think Northlane have always been pretty on the ball with that stuff, but there's always going to be a time when we get too old.
Yeah, exactly. But bands are staying on top of it, kind of thing. Some of the live streams that have been coming out are really rad, and based on the brief snippets we've heard of Obsidian, I'd love to see it with the full visual light show, and I know that Northlane's going to ball out for it. Like it'll be a cool show.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, we're just so excited to get back to it. So we're not going to come back small. We're definitely trying to come back with a bang.
Well, that's always good to hear. Well, yeah, until then, I suppose everyone will keep an eye out for the Obsidian tour and Full Tilt, hoping that it goes ahead in Jan. If you've tuned in late, I've been with Marcus Bridge from Northlane. Thank you so much for having a chat, Marcus. It's always a pleasure, man, and best of luck with the release of Obsidian.